A single word carved into a tree. An entire colony vanished without a trace. No bodies, no graves, just an impenetrable silence stretching over centuries. Tonight, we're unraveling one of America's oldest and most haunting mysteries, the lost colony of Roanoke. Was it a massacre, a desperate escape, or something far stranger? Prepare for a journey back in time, into the dark woods and shadowy shores where 117 men, women, and children stepped off the map and never returned. Let's go back to 1587. The world is changing fast. Elizabethan England is hungry for glory, riches, and a piece of the new world. On the wild, uncharted coast of North Carolina, a band of settlers establishes a fragile outpost, the Roanoke colony. Their leader, John White, is a skilled artist and navigator, handpicked by Sir Walter Raleigh, who dreams of planting an English foothold in North America and beating the Spanish to its treasures. The colonists are a mix of men, women, and children, families hoping for a new beginning, but completely unprepared for what lies ahead. It's not the first attempt. 2 earlier expeditions had already failed, but this time, Raleigh is determined. The settlers build their homes on Roanoke Island, surrounded by dense forests and the ever-present Atlantic. They try to befriend the local Algonquian tribes, especially the Croatoan on nearby Hatteras Island. But tension and mistrust simmer just beneath the surface. Supplies dwindle, the settlers are isolated, and as the months pass, the shadow of starvation grows dangerously close. In August, White's daughter, Eleanor Dare, gives birth to Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the New World. But far from a sign of hope, the colony's situation worsens. Food is running out, relations with the indigenous peoples are collapsing into violence. The settlers beg White to return to England for supplies, and he reluctantly agrees to leave his family and the colony behind, promising to come back quickly. But fate intervenes. As White arrives in England, the country is plunged into crisis. The Spanish Armada is threatening to invade, and every available ship is commandeered for war. White's desperate pleas are ignored. He's stranded for 3 long years, haunted by nightmares of his family's fate. Finally, in August of 1590, John White secures passage back to Roanoke. He lands on the island, his heart pounding with hope and fear. But what he finds chills him to the bone. The settlement is empty. Houses stand abandoned, their timbers weathered by wind and rain. There are no signs of a struggle, no bodies, no blood, not even a hastily dug grave. Just silence. White searches frantically. He finds a single word carved into a wooden post, Croatoan. On a nearby tree, another cryptic carving, Crow. The palisade fence, which should have been destroyed if the colonists left under duress, is still standing. There are no distress signals, no crosses, no clues except those strange words. White believes his family and the settlers might have relocated to Croatoan Island, today's Hatteras Island, just to the south. But a storm blows in, forcing White to abandon his search. He never sees his daughter or granddaughter again. The mystery of Roanoke is born, and for centuries, it has refused to die. What happened to the lost colonists? The theories range from the logical to the outlandish, each more compelling and chilling than the last. The first and most plausible theory, assimilation. Many historians believe the colonists, desperate and starving, may have sought refuge with the friendly Croatoan tribe. Some later settlers reported seeing European features among native peoples, gray eyes, lighter hair. John Lawson, an explorer in the early 1700s, claimed the Hatteras Indians told him their ancestors had white ancestors who could speak out of a book. Archaeological digs on Hatteras Island have uncovered English artifacts, iron tools, a rapier hilt, dating to the late 1500s. Could these be remnants from Roanoke's vanished settlers? Did they simply blend in, their English identity swallowed by survival? But not all clues point to peaceful assimilation. Another theory is far darker, massacre. The colonists were caught between warring tribes, the Sokotan, the Croatoan, and others. Some accounts suggest the hostile Powhatan chief, Wahan Seneca, later boasted of killing the Roanoke colonists. But when John Smith and the Jamestown settlers arrived years later, they found no bones, no evidence of violence. If there had been a massacre, where were the bodies? The mystery deepens. There's also the possibility of disease. The New World teemed with unfamiliar pathogens. Could a sudden outbreak have wiped out the colony? leaving no one alive to bury the dead? Yet again, there's no archaeological evidence of mass graves, no signs of a hasty evacuation. The settlement seems simply abandoned. Then come the more bizarre explanations. Some believe the colonists tried to sail back to England in a makeshift boat, only to vanish at sea. Others point to the Spanish, who had every motive to destroy English settlements along the coast. But Spanish records from St. Augustine, the nearest outpost, make no mention of an attack. The Roanoke colony simply slipped off the map. And then there are the supernatural tales. Over the centuries, legends have grown around Roanoke, whispers of curses, witchcraft, even ancient monsters. One story claims the entire colony was swept away by a vengeful spirit, or that the word Croatoan itself holds occult power. Edgar Allan Poe reportedly uttered Croatoan before his mysterious death, and the word has shown up in other American mysteries, fueling rumors of a curse that reaches far beyond North Carolina's shores. But let's return to the evidence. Modern archaeology has not given up the search. In the last decade, teams from the First Colony Foundation and the British Museum have uncovered tantalizing finds. On Hatteras Island, they've discovered fragments of English pottery, copper rings, and gun hardware, objects that could only have come from Europeans in the late 1500s. Perhaps most intriguing is a patch on an old map, drawn by John White himself. Invisible to the naked eye, a patch of paper covers what appears to be the symbol for a fort, located not on Roanoke, but inland, at the head of the Albemarle Sound. Did the colonists move inland, seeking safety and fresh water? Teams have searched this Site X on the North Carolina mainland, unearthing shards of English ceramics and a rapier hilt. But so far, there's no sign of a mass migration. No ruined settlement, no graves, just scattered clues. Some suggest the colonists split up, with one group joining the Croatoan and another heading inland, hoping to carve out a new home away from hostile tribes and the hungry sea. But the trail always ends in uncertainty. Every clue raises more questions than it answers. Why would the colonists leave so few traces? Why didn't White ever find them? And why, after all these centuries, does the word Croatoan still send shivers down the spine? Expert opinions are divided. Dr. Eric Klingelhofer, an archaeologist who's spent decades hunting for Roanoke's secrets, believes assimilation is the most likely answer. But until definitive proof is found, the mystery endures. Others hold out hope for a dramatic discovery. A lost graveyard, a hidden diary, a skeleton clutching a locket bearing Eleanor Dare's name. Even DNA testing has been tried. In recent years, researchers have sought genetic traces of European ancestry among the descendants of local tribes. The results? Inconclusive. The tangled web of migrations, marriages, and centuries of history make it almost impossible to draw a direct line back to Roanoke. The past refuses to give up its secrets. But perhaps that's why the story endures. Roanoke is more than a historical mystery. It's a haunting symbol of the unknown, a reminder of how fragile even our best-laid plans can be. The settlers who vanished into the Carolina wilderness were not just victims, they were survivors, dreamers, and pioneers. Their fate may never be fully revealed, but their story still echoes through the swamps and forests of the Outer Banks. So, what do you believe happened to the lost colony of Roanoke? Was it a desperate assimilation, a violent end, or something stranger still? Do the clues point to survival, or to tragedy? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Maybe, just maybe, the answer is still out there, waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this journey into one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories from the shadows of history. And remember, the past is never truly lost, as long as we keep searching.